Every home sale begins with a number that seems objective. But in the appraisal world, that number is often the product of pressure, policy, and hidden incentives. The public imagines appraisers discovering value. In reality, they often assemble it from incomplete data, narrow comparables, and institutional rules that shape the answer in advance. The lender needs the deal to close. That simple fact creates a structural conflict, because the appraisal is supposed to protect the lender from risk while serving the lender's business. The modern appraisal system is full of intermediaries. Each layer takes a fee, slows the process, and blurs accountability, while pretending to add independence. A valuation report is only as neutral as the comps it chooses. Excluding better neighbors, fresher sales, or inconvenient data can move the final number by thousands. Adjustments are where judgment becomes power. Small changes for condition, view, or layout can quietly transform a low-risk home into a supposedly discounted one. This is not a handmade truth machine. It is an industrial process, built to produce speed and consistency, even when the market demands nuance. Technology promised precision, but often delivered standardization. Automated and hybrid valuations can cut costs, yet they also compress local knowledge into formulas and shortcuts. Algorithms do not remove bias. They often automate it, encoding old market distortions into sleek models that look scientific because they are hard to question. Follow the money and the hidden ledger appears. The appraiser may earn a modest fee while the management layer captures a larger spread for coordination alone. The business model rewards volume, not depth. That institutional design pushes firms to squeeze turnaround times, reduce costs, and treat due diligence as a bottleneck. Deadlines are not just deadlines. They are leverage, and when a professional must choose between accuracy and speed, the system has already shaped the outcome. For homeowners, the appraisal can feel like a verdict from nowhere. A single report can rescue a deal, kill a refinance, or reset a family's financial future. Across many markets, valuation patterns mirror broader inequities. When data is thin and judgment is loose, systemic flaws can reproduce old disparities under a professional label. The problem did not start with one bad report. It is the inheritance of decades of policy choices, market segmentation, and regulatory capture. Independence exists on paper, but not always in practice. Appraisers work inside a power structure where the client can be distant and the pressure can still be immediate. Reconsideration requests sound technical, but they can become a pressure tactic. Revisions may be legitimate, yet they also open a door to soft coercion. Small edits can have large effects. A modest bump in value can unlock financing, erase friction, and quietly transfer risk from lender to market. That is why valuations matter beyond the house itself. They are a control point in a financial machine, and every control point creates incentives to manage the number. The economics are brutally simple. Speed sells, caution costs, and the firms that can process more files with fewer questions often win the market. This is where regulatory capture enters the frame. Rules can be written by insiders, softened by lobbying, and enforced only after the market has already adapted. Consolidation changes behavior. When a few large actors control volume, smaller appraisers lose bargaining power, and the whole profession becomes easier to discipline. One flawed valuation can echo outward. Comparable sales feed future reports, so a distorted number can contaminate the next layer of pricing. For borrowers, the cost is personal. A low appraisal can block refinancing, reduce cash-out options, and trap a household inside expensive debt. The industry depends on data, but the data is often thin, stale, or inconsistent. When inputs are flawed, the output inherits the same weakness with confidence. The hidden ledger is rarely one ledger. It is a network of assumptions, fee splits, revision cycles, and informal expectations that never appear in the final report. Metrics can create a false sense of safety. If the system measures turnaround and completion more than accuracy, it trains people to optimize the wrong outcome. Even honest appraisers face judgment calls. Two professionals can inspect the same property and still disagree because valuation mixes evidence with interpretation. That is the central flaw in institutional design. The system pays for speed, rewards conformity, and only weakly pays for intellectual independence. When the pattern repeats, it stops looking random. Underpricing in certain neighborhoods can become structural, even when each individual file appears defensible. Complaints often surface only after damage is done. By then, the deal has closed, the homeowner has paid, and the report has already shaped reality. This is why transparency matters. If the public cannot see how inputs become outputs, then trust depends on faith instead of accountability. Real reform would separate compensation from pressure, expose audit trails, and reduce the power of middlemen. Without that, the incentives remain largely intact. The appraisal is supposed to price truth. But in a system built on speed, volume, and compliance theater, truth becomes just another managed input. What looks like a neutral opinion is often the end product of incentives. The valuation is not merely found, it is produced by the machine. And until that machine is redesigned, every home valuation will carry the same question: who really set the number? Subscribe for more.